Medieval times dinner and tournament is a popular tradition for many patriotic Americans. While the experience of eating chicken without utensils may have its appeal, it is important to note that it is not historically accurate to the real medieval times. Surprisingly, the average medieval diet was actually quite healthy for the heart, consisting of trendy and familiar foods that we still enjoy today. In this video, we will delve into what the typical medieval diet entailed. But before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Interesting Day. During medieval times, almond milk was a popular alternative to dairy products. It was commonly found in European households and used especially during fasting periods when consuming animal products was prohibited by the church. Almond milk had the advantage of a longer shelf life compared to cow or goat's milk, and it could be used to make butter and incorporated into various dishes. As a result, many medieval cookbooks included recipes that featured almond milk as a key ingredient. While medieval knights didn't indulge in late-night fast food like chariots at a drive-thru, there were variations of fast food in the Middle Ages. These establishments served meat pies, hotcakes, pancakes, and wafers that were made for immediate consumption. However, they were often associated with lower quality and were considered dirty and dishonest. Interestingly, these fast casual joints sometimes used questionable ingredients, like tainted rabbit, in their meat pies. Bread was a staple in the diet of medieval peasants, who consumed around 2 to 3 pounds of bread and grain per day. They would pair their bread with peas, lentils, or fish for protein, rather than red meat. The calorie intake from bread alone was significant, with 2½ pounds of rye bread amounting to 3,000 calories. Adding a gallon of ale, which contributed an additional 1,500 calories, it's surprising that obesity wasn't more prevalent among peasants. However, their physically demanding 12-hour workdays likely helped burn off the excess calories. In terms of fruits and vegetables, it was uncommon to consume them raw during medieval times. The belief at the time was that raw fruits and vegetables were contaminated with disease. This practice of cooking fruits and vegetables is still followed today due to similar concerns regarding food safety, as seen with recent recalls of romaine lettuce and spinach. In a carving book from the 1500s, readers were advised against consuming salads and raw fruits, as they were believed to cause illness. Aromatic fresh herbs, on the other hand, were valued for their medicinal and culinary uses. While lower-class citizens in the Middle Ages occasionally had salads, they were considered lesser fare, associated with food that came from the ground. Root vegetables like carrots and turnips were seen as more peasant-like. A commoner's salad would typically include lettuce, onions, and carrots, sometimes mixed with oil, nuts, or olives. Surprisingly, the wealthy would often exclude vegetables from their meals, but they deemed onions, garlic, and leeks suitable for their dining table and, unfortunately, for their breath. In medieval feasts, it was common to have a roasted pig as the focal point of the meal, especially for those who were well off. Pork, particularly suckling pig, was highly regarded and prized in medieval Europe. Contrary to today's belief that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, in medieval times it was considered a meal for the gluttonous or for those engaged in strenuous work, as stated by medieval priest Thomas Aquinas. The typical meal plan during the Middle Ages involved skipping breakfast, having a light midday dinner, and enjoying a hearty supper in the evening. Occasionally, some individuals would sneak in a third meal called weary supper with wine and ale, although this was frowned upon. During this period, meat was highly prized and scarce for commoners. However, even the wealthy didn't have overly specific preferences. Historical records reveal a lavish assortment of meat options, such as vultures, cranes, hedgehogs, presumably without their prickly exteriors, seals, and whales, among others. At a grand feast hosted by Archbishop Neville of York in 1467, attended by 6,000 guests, several tons of meat were consumed, including swans, peacocks, and over 13,500 unidentified birds. Additionally, an impressive 400 casks of alcohol were consumed. During the medieval era, acquiring a honey-baked ham for a Christmas feast was not an easy task. The king occasionally permitted a Christmas swan, but the traditional Christmas goose was the main dish for both the extremely wealthy and less affluent families. The wealthy would lavish their geese with a pretentious combination of butter and saffron, while poorer families likely settled for a plain goose that cost them a day's wages. However, both the rich and the poor indulged in a dish called humble pie, which is believed to be the origin of the expression humble pie. This intriguing pie consisted of the edible entrails of deer or another animal cooked into a pie. The introduction of beans had a significant impact on medieval Europeans' diet and nutrition. Umberto Eco argued that the cultivation of legumes in the 10th century played a crucial role in the survival of Western civilization, greatly influencing the population's nutrition. This may seem exaggerated, but incorporating beans into the diets of laboring individuals provided a valuable source of protein in a society where meat was scarce for the economically disadvantaged. The population doubled within a few centuries after beans became a staple in European meals. Guilds played a crucial role in protecting the interests of master bakers during the Middle Ages. They ensured that family recipes remained exclusive to guild-protected bakers, preventing others from opening bakeries using stolen recipes. These guilds were known for their strict regulations. While sweets were not commonly enjoyed by commoners, the middle class occasionally indulged in desserts as part of their family-style feasts. These feasts involved multiple courses served simultaneously, creating a gluttonous experience. Desserts, like the soltiti, were served between courses as a palate cleanser. While the Mediterranean diet receives praise for its heart-healthy qualities, the medieval diet deserves recognition as well. Despite lacking modern medicine and enduring the Black Death, people in the Middle Ages generally had a healthier diet for their hearts compared to most individuals today. Although consuming 3 pounds of bread may not seem heart-healthy, their diet was more complex. This civilization didn't have the refined sugars present in many contemporary foods. Additionally, the people engaged in physical labor, providing them with heart-healthy exercise. Research by Dr. Roger Henderson suggests that medieval individuals had a lower risk of coronary heart disease and diabetes compared to modern individuals. This prompts the consideration of the medieval diet as a potential model for the 21st century, rivaling the acclaimed Mediterranean diets. Do not feel remorse for consuming numerous pounds of bread coated in almond butter while avoiding the salad counter. Simply inform others that it is the diet of the medieval era. Thank you for joining us on Interesting Day. See you next time.